Yes, the light. I'm alive. Wagwan family, how you guys doing? For 20 years, Michael Shine Burden burglarized hundreds of homes across Collin and Dallas counties in Texas, people. He has spent his life learning how to break into homes to find and steal thousands worth of goodies. You know what I say? He was getting away with it. Well, guys, listen this morning. Until he was caught by the Allen police, PD in Texas. So this is a jailhouse confession. He's now facing 20 to 30 years in jail. So what you're about to hear is a jailhouse confession from a real burglar. This will help a lot of us here. None of us been robbed before because we never take precaution or we never know these things that we're about to play this morning to you guys. I learned these things. There are a lot of stuff I learned tonight what we never know. We never know what attract thieves. Come here, not thief. Sometimes, all we know them say they leave valuables and car seat and all these things and we try to. But there are certain things that attract thieves. Me and a thief wouldn't know. So me I listen to from the mouth of a real criminal who them take out from behind bars and face 20 to 30 years and them come out, come confess. I guess, I teach you some things that will lessen his time in prison because, a burglary. So 20 to 30 years, man, rob hundreds of house people, whole house. So listen, people, I want you guys to really listen carefully as we go down this road with this thing, guys. Yeah, man. If you're not hearing good, let me know in the comment section, please. Please.
Mr. Durden, how are you today, sir? I'm right, sir.
Very interesting, people. If you're not here good, you'll let Carlos know. Yeah, man. Real thing. Real criminal inside the mind.
Consider a neighborhood. Is there something that you're looking for in that neighborhood that would pique your interest?
Yes, sir. There are several things approaching a neighborhood from a criminal perspective that you look for, key things. First and foremost, I look for settled homes because people whom are of a socioeconomic status to be able to afford a particular type of home usually have disposable income.
Yeah, hear them? Yeah, hear it, guys? Yeah, hear that good? All right, respect.
Meaning from my perspective that they have jewelry or ready cash that's available to be taken. Middle class homes get hit less in burglaries just because of that. From me, anyway, from my perspective. In a neighborhood, I'm looking for well kept homes, yards with really nice fences. Because if you can afford a $10,000 fence to go around your home, then I'm sure the inside of your home is very nice too. The things that'll keep me from going into your home like that are easily displayed. A lot of alarm systems these days, they have availability of being wireless. The reason they do that is because it's easy for an individual to walk to the outside of a person's home and pull the wires out from the box that goes to the alarm system that's wired into the telephone system, cut those wires. If you cut the wires, even if you do trigger the alarm system, it's not going to send a message to the company. So you don't have to worry about it. But with a cellular system, that's not the case. With a cellular system, you have to it's a lot more inclusive, and it's hard to get the things that you need to defeat the system.
So this thief is saying to use wireless alarm. People are learning. I learn from criminal and I say, true, we are no criminal. All we have to do is learn and tell the family member or the best people are criminal. I tell we how to avoid him. I prison him that people have faced 20, 30 years at Texas. He been escaping all this time. They just catch him in my first time now. So a real jailhouse confession this, you know. Yes, man, we are learn from inside the mind of a criminal. Listen to these people.
It's really hard to find anybody selling a cell phone signal blocker. So, the threat of just having someone having wireless will make me step away from their home.
Let me ask you this. People often ask us, well, what about dogs? If I have a big dog that barks, is that a deterrent?
Sometimes it can be, especially if they're extremely aggressive. But not always. Dogs can be a deterrent, but if you come to the front door and I knock on your front door, and just for personal knowledge, people that have these beautiful see-through front doors that I can see all the way through their house, that I can see from the front of their house to the back of their house.
Wow.
I can look from side to side into their home. If their dog's barking or whatnot, and their dog's running around, no matter what size the dog is going to understand that it's not the alpha male of the house. So it's going to run and try and find somebody if somebody's there. So sometimes a dog can be a telltale sign to me. Sometimes a dog will run over to a room and look and run back. And I'll know that person's not answering the door, but they're home.
You hear that?
Because a dog's not going to do that under normal circumstances, unless it's a really, really big dog that's really, really aggressive. My MO was I would disconnect the alarm system. Sometimes it would be a dog. And sometimes I would go up to the window and put my hand out just to see what the dog would do. If it's an extremely small dog, it's not a deterrent, period. But a large dog that's real aggressive, it's going to make me think, do I really want to wrestle with this dog and have to spray him and still risk being bitten by a sprayed dog who's really mad at me?
People, nobody believes say thief, yes or no thief, this or. This a thief all over the world. Thief have the same mindset. Trust me. The same way, people. So anyway in the world they can learn from this video. But we listen it.
That sometimes can be a deterrent.
Let me ask you this on the same neighborhood question.
Yes, sir.
There's usually two things that come up. The dogs, which I think you've covered well. What about a nosy neighbor? If you're going through a neighborhood and you see someone, looking out the window at you, or maybe they walk out their front door to look at you, is that a deterrent?
No, most certainly. I applaud the efforts of Neighborhood Watch, because there have been so many times that I've gone and cased a neighborhood and stayed away from that neighborhood because it was obvious to me that there were people out walking, that they had the VIP program, And it makes a lot of difference. It'll totally deter me from even going anywhere near that neighborhood.
However, you hear the man say about neighborhood watch. We hear the man say about neighborhood watch. So we could stop quarrel with the neighbor, fight with the neighbor, fuss with the neighbor. Unity is strength, people. Unity is strength. A neighborhood watch, I do it, you know. That can deter a lot of criminals, you know. Make we listen more.
Really? Yes, sir. Because I don't want ever to enter into a situation where I'm confronted by anyone. So that's the whole reason of casing the homes. I'm not a home invader who would go in and tie people up. I'm a thief. I'm not proud to say that, but that's what I am. I'm a thief. And I don't want to come in contact with anyone, especially someone who can later identify me. Neighborhood watch programs work. People may say, no, they don't, or he's been told this or that, the other to say it, but no, I'm speaking from my heart. I'm telling you that I went through Allen, some parts of Allen and saw the VIP program and got away from it. Some parts of Plano and got away from it. Some parts of Richardson. I didn't go in Richardson because people in Richardson are so aware of who doesn't belong in their neighborhood. You drive down a cul-de-sac and make a turnaround, people are watching you. You know, parts of North Dallas are the same way. VIP program does work.
Let's talk more specifically now about the house.
Sure.
If you you go through the neighborhood, a particular house draws your attention. What is it about the house that you really want to pay attention to as to whether or not that's a house that you want to go in or pass by?
People need to empty their mailboxes.
What?
People need to have their neighbors pick their older newspapers up out of the line. Even if they're not there, for most burglars, I won't go in a home that doesn't look manicured because I don't believe that the people there have.
People, I want you guys to hear this, you know. Throughout this interview, you're going to hear the man continuously beat on neighborhood watch, live good with your neighbor, talk with your neighbor, be nice to your neighbor. And that the criminal are saying, you know. He said once you live with a neighbor good and they can, you know, have your neighbor back, people, it's hard to penetrate that, you know. A criminal attack, you know. For you guys who just a giant, this is a criminal attack. This is a thief, a burglar. This is a jailhouse. He's in a jailhouse. It's a confession. A police sergeant is interviewing him. Hundreds of houses this man broke before him just to get caught. 20 to 30 years in a prison in my face. Let's learn from this criminal.
Money to manicure the lawn, therefore they don't have expendable income. But if you're in a neighborhood that's median income's probably $250,000 between the spouses a year, and the yard's not manicured, I just think they're on vacation. And I will go to that house. So picking up the mail, making sure that your neighbors take care of it. Also, like with their trash cans and stuff, instead of pulling their trash like on trash day, that's like a big thing. You can go through and see who's home and who's not just by the trash being there or not, by driving down the alley and looking.
Jaja.
That's a big thing. From my perspective, I'm a personal trainer. That's what I did besides crime. I jog a lot. So it would be nothing for me to go through the neighborhood and not be noticed.
Then again, you hear the man I say, your trash can out there for a long period of time. When trash truck gone a long time, criminal know say, you know that your newspaper, your mail. So right there, so again, you have to live good with your neighbor so your neighbor can pull up a trash can, even pick up your mail. And you understand, I say, people, those things are red flag for criminals, you know. I could listen to the criminal. I learn people how not to get the house burglarized.
I mean, I have tattoos, but I wear long sleeve shirts that wick moisture. So you really can't see my tattoos. If you stop me, my vernacular is not that of the common criminal. So with that said, I would case neighborhoods on foot by jogging or walking and look at homes. And the homes that I'm looking for specifically have mail, specifically have newspapers. They're unkept to a specific level depending on the neighborhood. The front of the house, I'm looking for alarm systems that I know I can defeat that aren't wireless.
Yeah.
If they're wireless, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm not going to waste my time because there's going to be a response extremely quick. And I was parking my vehicle a mile away, and I can't run a mile in 4 minutes like some people can.
You hear that, guys? The man say it again. Use wireless alarm system. Wireless alarm system. As a criminal, him say him don't even touch it. Him gone where I go. So these are tips as honest, law-abiding, working class people we need to learn. So let me take this time out to big up some people where in the morning, yeah. Cynthia B, bless up herself. Me see David Jervis, me see Alfonso, bless. Good morning. I learn how to avoid criminal, cause they might not jailhouse confession, these people. Me see Vivian Hamilton. Good morning, family. How you doing? Manners and respect and enough love. And me see Alverna Burchell. How you doing? Yeah, man. Bless up, man. Bless up. Me see Monica Willis. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning, mama. Good morning. Good morning to each and every one else. So listen up, many people. It's a jailhouse confession. This a burglar. All of we have homes. Some have homes, some have apartment, condo, anyone to live. Hear the criminal attack, how to avoid him. One of the things he man say is neighbor to watch, and you're going to hear him continuously say that. To live good in the neighbor, basically. Talk with the neighbor. You understand me? He said when you come in a neighborhood, the neighbor communicate. It's hard for criminals to penetrate that. And wireless alarm system. Let's listen.
So I would be on the officer's radar, jogging away from the home with valuables. But the front of the house versus the back of the house, the front of the house, I'm looking for visual pathways. What I mean by that is being able to see through the front windows into the home, or from the street at that, or from the sidewalk rather. And if I notice that there's not very many lights on in the home, or any lights on in the home, I'm going to walk up to the front door and knock on the front door versus ringing the doorbell. Now I'm going to knock and knock and knock until it's just pestering to make sure nobody's there. But in the process of doing that, I'm looking through the glass windows and those really beautiful doors that I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And I'm paying attention to reflections and shadows inside the home. You can't do that when there's lights on in the home. I mean, I know that neighborhood watch tell people you need to keep a light on your home when you're not there, and that's true because it's a deterrent. But don't put the light on in the front room right by the window. Mm-hmm. Put the light on in the center of your home where it's not easily seen.
Here?
Because a person may be occupied with the internet or television or movie or headphones. And if I can't see shadows coming from that light, it makes me weary. And I don't do nighttime burglaries. I do daytime burglaries, but you can still see into a person's home and see light. It makes me as a burglar weary to go into that home.
Monica Willis, I read hundreds of homes, hundreds, but him keep eluding law enforcement. So that's why them have him as with this interview so they can learn and get into the psyche and the mind of a burglar. So this is this is an educational video. We right here are learning how to avoid this brother and people like him. Criminals everywhere, them think the same, yard or abroad. Let's listen.
So that's a really good deterrent, but just not in the front. Because if you're in the front and I can look and see your light source, and I can look at the light and knock on their door, and nobody comes, and I know they just turn the light on because they're not home. Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
Do you look, does it have anything to do if there's vehicles in the driveway or in the garage? Or...
Yes, sir. I've spoken with a detective about that, particularly if I see a vehicle parked in the driveway or in front of the home, I'm most certainly not going there. Mm-hmm. It's a waste of my time. Why would I do that when people that aren't home generally don't park their cars in front of their homes? Right. And as I said, I didn't want to come into contact with anyone. That's a major deterrent. Also, there's small appliances that people can buy that are timers. They can turn their lights off and on. They can turn a stereo off and on. They can turn a television off and on. They can turn a pre-recorded noise of your choice, your voice, your dog barking, any of that on. That's a very good device. It's very useful because if I come to your door and I knock on your door and it has a ultrasound or sonic, whatever it's called, a detector on it, and it sets it off when you knock on the door. Who is it? Right? I'm like, well, lots of times I'll walk away from the door before anybody even gets there because I don't want to be seen. So it would deter me from actually going to that home.
I know you say you want to
Wow.
look to see, across the house from the front to
yes,
the
sir.
rear. Once you feel comfortable that there's not a dog in the house and there's nobody home, what's your next step in the process?
I'm looking for registration to the city for their alarm. I'm
Wow.
looking for their permit, which will be stuck around their front door on the glass 90% of the time, or one of their front windows. That permit tells me that their alarm system is up to date and that it's connected directly, not through a company, but directly to a police station. So if I make any error in my judgment on what I'm doing and that alarm goes off, there's going to be officers there almost immediately. That will deter me, because just so many other people that are homeowners get that first year of alarm system for free and then don't never pay on it again because they figure I'll never get my house broke into. And they do.
It's some
People, you see the work when put in. People, you see all them criminal that think and I put in work, take it down to a science to come broke in your house. Make we continue to listen.
point you're gonna transition from the front of the house to the rear of the house.
Yes, sir.
When you do that, how do you approach from the rear without drawing undue attention to your approach?
Sometimes I'll jog a street over and look through a cut through several houses up and then jog down the alley. And I already have counted how many houses it is down the alley. And I'll look to see whether or not they have their fence locked. And if they do, I'll just climb their fence or flip over their fence. So, and do it as speedily as I can so that people don't see me. But
people are real criminal. Listen, Michael O'Connor. Michael O'Connor say, I hope he never sees the light of day anymore. David Jervis say, I don't always open my blinds or windows, covering either when I am home or away. Be home all day with my blinds closed. Make we continue to listen from and learn from that criminal like a. We not thief like a him. Hundreds of houses a man a broke. Listen here.
that's always the thing. If you have neighborhood watch and people are aware of what's going on around them, if I'm going down the alley and I see anybody, that's a deterrent. I'm not even going to that house that I just cased that I know nobody's home in, because this person may have seen me. I would go jog back to my vehicle and drive to a totally different neighborhood because of that.
Wow.
It's very hard to get around neighborhood watch. It's excessively straining to try and outmaneuver them.
You hear?
I was jogging through, I'm not going to name the neighborhood, but I was jogging through a neighborhood and I immediately became aware that there was neighborhood watch and they didn't know me.
Hear that?
So they were looking at me because they're out there every day and they know their neighbors and they know who's on their street.
Yep.
And as I was jogging through, I was like, well, that's neighborhood watch. They're watching me, right? So, and they didn't make it obvious, but I knew who it was. And so I jogged down another street and I saw the same person again. And I said, well, they're watching me, so I need to leave. I would most certainly spend hours out casing and preparing beforehand, walking those alleys.
People hear that? Criminal put in the work, you know. People then put in the work to come broke your house. Neighborhood watch is the way. You hear the man say? Your neighbor know everybody will live there. And anybody will look off. A side yard they might get. Make we continue to learn.
Being seen, people could have looked out their window and seen me 4 or 5 times in the same alley in a day and become suspicious of that and call the police. Tell them, hey, this guy's been in my alley 3 times a day. He doesn't live over here.
Wow.
And that would have deterred me. That would have killed everything that I was doing, all the hours that I had invested into getting acquainted with that area. And, nobody did.
From your experience, there's still a lot of people that don't pay sufficient attention to what's going on in their neighborhood.
Most people in the neighborhoods, cul-de-sacs, yes. Because, it's inevitable that you see everybody every day in a cul-de-sac. But in a linear street design, no, you don't know who your neighbors are for the most part. 5 houses down on the other side of the street. So housewarming parties, getting together for neighborhood watch, passing out flyers to get to know each other, meeting at the parks, and being acquainted with each other as a society so that you know the people around you, so that your children are protected. Because I'm just a burglar. Think how many pedophiles do what I do. Think about that. And right now, where I'm incarcerated at, there's a lot of pedophiles. And I listen to what they say.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in this neighborhood over here walking around. I was at the park over here. So it may not just be that guy, white guy, that's properly spoken, that's jogging. It looks like he's really jogging. He may not just be a burglar. He may be a murderer, a rapist, a pedophile. People need to know that it's okay to call the police on somebody they don't know that's in their neighborhood. Because I was in a lot of neighborhoods and had no business being there.
Wow.
And it's really, really important that people get to know each other. And it's really good foundation of protecting your home is awareness of who's around you, right? Yeah. And so people need to get out and meet each other more in the neighborhoods.
You hear that?
But yeah, that's a big thing. If somebody
don't be afraid. I think what I'm hearing you say too is don't be afraid to report a suspicious person,
exactly,
or a suspicious vehicle,
exactly,
or maybe both.
Why?
Hey, I've seen the guy on foot and I've seen him in the vehicle. Same guy. Something's up.
Right. Yeah. He drove by and looked, and then 10 minutes later, I seen him jog by and go to the door. What was that about? Yeah. Right. Sometimes I would drive my vehicle because, like, I'm 43 and my knees act up sometimes. So I would drive my vehicle to go knock on doors at people's homes.
Wow.
And if you know that you've never seen me at that home before, and I'm beating the door down, I'm literally loudly knocking on the door. You know, it's okay to call over there if you know him and say, hey, are you home? If not, then why is this guy doing that? Then you see me 10 minutes later walking down the street, right? Same guy, same clothes.
So if you were, I mean, a guy that's knocking on a door loudly during the middle of the morning or the middle of the afternoon, that could be step one of a burglary in progress.
Yes, most definitely.
Wow.
Somebody walking up after UPS has dropped off a package to knock on a door. That's another thing.
Wow.
They've got this. I was watching it on television the other day. What they were calling package pirates, people that follow UPS trucks around and steal the whatever they drop off. That same technique applies for burglars because they know you're not home. Because the UPS guy's going to call your home and he's going, you were supposed to be there for the delivery, and if you're not there, then you're not there. You know.
Monica Willis said he's a professional home broker. He's a slime bag. He just lucky he didn't went to the wrong house. Hey, at 20 to 30 years in my face, Monica, him try to cooperate with law enforcement and teach them the art of the deal. Because hundreds of houses in my Van and Belt are real professional. So they are learning from him. And with this video, it's for the public to also learn. So me I learn, because me never know some things. I never know say the wireless alarm system and all that. I wasn't paying attention to certain things. But what the brother say today, tonight, this morning, me I learn. Let's continue to listen. Alfonso Bless said, that's why I love my neighborhood. Everybody looks out for each other. People who can hear I them on a beat. Are the criminal I said that, you know? Are the thief I said that, you know? He said he can't penetrate neighborhood watch. It's hard to penetrate neighborhood watch. Communicate with your neighbors. Eh? You know, the day you go on vacation, you letter them they fall out of the mailbox. Eh? Newspaper pile up in their driveway. Criminal knows you know, they. Your garbage can still roll down and roll down. They say, I saw you live bad. I saw you live bad in the neighborhood. I tell criminals say, you know they another house if you come in now. Let's listen.
Nobody's scared of the UPS guy with a great big brown truck parked in the front yard. So if you're not open the door, that's telling me that you're not home. There's been times that I've broken into homes that people did not answer their door.
Wow.
And I ended up in the home 2 or 3 steps before I actually heard something and backed out and left. Or that I've dropped the glass window and I've heard a woman say, oh my God.
You hear that, people? Can you imagine you're in a house naked? A man broke in a house, like Monica Willis say. Him another right house in Brookina. Him lucky, you know. Hundreds of houses in Brookina. And people, I'm still alive. I don't know. In a Texas, in a Texas at that too, Make we continue to listen. Can you imagine you look at daughter in a house, I come out of bathroom, now have no clothes and our barely dress, and here come this man coming, they matter about, oh my God. I should have ball, oh my God. But we go and listen to this brother. I learn.
And I've left. I actually, one time, a woman hollered to her son
Yeah.
and said, "Go get the gun." And I certainly left. But people not answering their doors, things like that, I can understand why you wouldn't do it. But to a burglar, if I knock on your door and you don't answer, and I'm really knocking on your door, and I mean, it to the point of frustration, and you still don't answer, to me, that's like, well, they're not home.
People, you hear the man say, he man knock on the door to the point of frustration. I want to hear the brother say, knocking on your door to the point of frustration. Thief, a bang on your door, to the point of frustration. Let's listen to this thief, yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be, would you recommend to someone that if that happens, there's someone knocking very aggressively on the door, to at least go, obviously not open the door, but make verbal contact? What do you want?
Who are you? Right. If it's a woman and they're worried about an intruder and they're just trying to stay in the shadows, grab the telephone and pretend like you're on the telephone and come to the door and say, "Just a minute, I'm on the telephone."
You hear that, people? Ladies, when you hear that, it's same thing for some man too. Because some of them man fraidy. That's why I say sometimes you even dip on the road and afraid, feel coward, or in a taxi and feel scared. I want the phone dead, act like you dip on the phone with somebody. You hear the criminal I say? Talking to somebody, scare them away. Even when they not talk to nobody. Make we listen your thief, yeah.
And to me, that's a deterrent.
Hear that?
2 reasons. Number one, you're home. Number two, you have communication with someone else. So if I am a home invader instead of a burglar, there's communication there. You're with someone else. So if something happens to you, they have access to the police. It's just a smart way around that predicament right there.
So you would say, don't ignore the door. Go make verbal contact with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you're standing 10 feet away and you're like, "Yeah, who is it?" "Oh, well, such and such." "Well, I don't know you." Yeah. Right. And if you stay there, I'm calling the police. That'll certainly deter anyone that's got evil intent in mind.
True.
Now, you're at the rear of the house, and now you're getting ready to make your entry.
Yes, sir.
Is there a particular way that you prefer to make entry into the house?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Some guys like to go through doors. Some prefer windows. Some, is there a certain way that you prefer?
Yes, sir. There is, and for particular reasons. Homes these days have those large double-paned windows that they're not shatter windows, the ones that have safety glass in them. Mm-hmm. And they're very loud. And if you break a pane of it, it's loud, extremely loud. So I would choose doors that have safety glass and use a center punch to knock out the glass in the window. So I'd enter that way because it's a lot quieter. And essentially just pull my hoodie up and step through. And that would take out a lot of the noise.
You just basically use your body to go through, and it doesn't make enough noise to
draw attention.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't make enough noise. But there's also other ways. You have those marbled windows for bathrooms that are thin. Mm-hmm. I'm 5'10". I weigh 215 pounds right now. You wouldn't think that I'd be able to get through there, but I can. The same theory applies with the glass. It doesn't make much noise because it's marble. Push it in. I could grab the molding from the outside of the window, and I'm physically strong enough to pull the molding out, step up, push my breath out of my chest to where I have no inhalation of air, and squeeze, wiggle through, catch my breath on that side to finish pulling myself through. I know those windows are unable to be protected by most alarm systems. People do not understand how important it is to have a glass breaking the one that sounds from glass breaking alarm. I call it a sonic alarm. I don't know its true name, but
Glass sensor.
Right, it's glass sensor. Right.
Guys, when I hear from a criminal, make sure you have a glass breaking alarm. Them old time alarm in their house. Now go save it from a man like this. Them a man like them read book and all them thing they off the, you know. This army alarm and all them thing there. Him say the wireless alarm people, make sure that you have on your house. Make you listen and learn.
So that will detect that. That's one point of entry that a lot of people are like, oh, well, they can't get through there. Right? Yes, you can. Doggy doors at the back of the home. I went into a home that had a very large dog, and it was a large enough doggy door for me to squeeze through. And I went right in there. The alarm system was on and was armed. And I walked right up to the front door and looked at it and said, well, the alarm system's on. I've got to go back out through that doggy door. So the doggy door gave me instant access to the valuables. Also, you have those sliding windows that are up higher. And lots of people think, well, nobody can get up there and it's too small of a space. But a person that's athletic can get up there and take the window frame out without a problem and go right through the window without a problem. The best way to protect those against invasion is with a bar. Put a small bar up there that'll block the window from being able to open. Because if I can just wiggle the window inside the frame, I can pull the window out without very much noise at all. From the back part of the house perspective, you have some people that have those large oval windows that are over their bathtubs that are stained glass. They look like stained glass, but they're not stained glass. They shatter and they're kind of stringy when they do. It's kind of like they've got some material in it for safety reasons to keep it from shattering and falling in. Those windows right there are hard to protect except for the glass sensor. There's been homes that I knew that there's a glass sensor in, and I would go ahead and take out their calling system, the wires for it, and go in and go ahead and do it anyway. So the cellular is very important, but also glass sensor is important. The glass sensor for most people, even if they do cut the wires, it makes a lot of noise. Alarm makes a lot of noise. People these days aren't willing to pay for outside horns for the alarms, and that is ridiculous. Because if I bust your back window and an alarm system goes off, it's not just contained inside your home where I know exactly where to go to unplug the alarm system to cut off the alarm. Wow. Then, I mean, there's huge horns outside, sound like D-Day. I'm running.
Let me ask you this. Once you are inside the house, how much time are you comfortable actually spending in the house? You know, some people say that they want to get in and out in 60 to 90 seconds. Seems very fast.
Yeah, it is very.
What would be more realistic?
5 to 7 minutes. If I go in a house, it's because I'm sure that I've defeated the alarm system, and the only thing that I'm worried about is someone coming home. I'm not there to steal anything but jewelry and readily available cash, which I say only. That was somebody's jewelry and cash that I was stealing, and it was ridiculous that I was doing that. But with that said, 5 to 7 minutes, I can go all the way through your home and know everything that you have, pull out every drawer, and even take your safe.
So,
people, you know, you are one. A real professional criminal, listen to people. 5 to 7 minutes. If they don't know fast move because we already disabled the alarm and do him homework. So you're sitting him comfort. Make we listen to the criminal and learn. Lots of.
Being the target is jewelry and cash.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to hit the master bedroom first?
Yes, sir.
Once you go in, you've got to make a choice as to where in the house you're going to go.
Yes, sir. Exactly. The master bedroom, even with 2-story homes, the master bedroom is generally on the first floor.
Yeah.
So as I'm casing the home, I make a decision about where the master bedroom is by what I would consider that floor plan may be. And that would be exactly where I would go first. I would go through the window at the home. First, I'm going to the alarm system to see whether or not the alarm system's armed or whether it's ready. Ready, a lot of this is confusing to a lot of people because when you say ready and you're thinking, well, what's ready for what? It's ready to go off. but no, it's ready to be armed. So I'd go up and look to see what it says and see whether or not there was a warning on it for an intrusion.
Wow.
Because some alarm systems are silent. And I mean, I go look at that alarm to see what kind it is from the inside to see whether or not it's cellular. Because some people may not put this new sign in the yard, maybe an old sign or whatnot. New signs in the yard that say wireless will deter anyone that's got any brains or inclusive knowledge of what they're doing about burglarizing. Because can't beat it.
Would it be safe to say that a wireless alarm will get you caught?
Wireless alarms, yes. Why, there's no defeating it. By the time that you can cut the wires outside, when you go into the home, even if they didn't have the glass breaking feature on their home, when you do go into the home, that there's motion detectors in the home that you weren't aware of, and it goes off. Well, you're thinking, well, okay, I cut the wires. So in a short time later, you'll find out differently because the officers will show up, right? So it would save your property, to say the least. But a person who puts that sign in their yard and at the back of their home, it's very important to put signs in the back of their home, because some burglars don't even case the front of the home. Some burglars just jump in backyards and look in windows.
Wow.
And if you put that cellular wireless feature there, so the sign, like I saw some name brand signs that now say wireless on them that didn't used to, just so people know, right? That there's a cellular system there.
Huh.
And it is, I mean, yeah, it's a major deterrent because there's no point in going there. The officers are going to be there in such a short period of time. Even if you were capable of burglarizing that home within 90 seconds, which it's not, unless you're knocking the door down, running in there, grabbing a jewelry box and running out. And most burglars aren't doing that. You would have to have prior knowledge of what's in the home to do something like that.
Well, then let me ask you this. Once
Yes,
you've
sir.
gone in and you found everything you're interested in
Yes, sir.
in the master bedroom,
Yes, sir.
is there any other part of the house that you may check? Or do you feel like, okay, I've been here long enough, I'm out of here?
I want to check the master bedroom because I'll do it very fast. I know what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a bunch of electronics and stuff. So I would go straight to the jewelry. I would go straight to the women's boudoir, looking specifically for their jewelry. Men don't really wear a lot of jewelry. Women do. So I would go to their items first. On the way out, I might check the men's to see if he has watches or whatever. Go into the master bedroom closets because sometimes there's stand-up racks of jewelry racks in there. Also, I'm looking in the men's side of the closet for a safe. And I know that from experience. So I'd go in and look for a safe. Go from there. At that time, I've probably been in the house 3 minutes. And I'd walk around and look for an office because some people keep credit cards. Can't use a credit card to go make cash advances or anything, but I can go to Walmart and use a credit card and spend $600 or $700 and buy 2 or 3 televisions or whatever, and then sell it on the street or take it wherever and sell it. And I mean, people really need to pay attention to their offices. Because I can go in there and get lots of times people's financial records, get their account numbers, get their routing numbers. If I was into identity theft instead of just being a burglar, I'd probably be in a lot more trouble right now than what I am. I'm in a lot of trouble right now. Don't doubt that. My rear end is smoking from the Allen PD and Plano PD.
People, you think it's that an identity thief? Actually, before the policeman talk about that, I said, if I was an identity thief, who are you? Make go and listen to this criminal and learn.
But with that said, people really need to lock away those items because
identity theft is so difficult to solve and to clean up.
Right.
You know, you can replace a piece of jewelry.
Yes, sir.
You can replace gold.
Right.
Or cash.
But your records for your banking records and your credit, that's terrible.
It's tough.
Right.
And it's a long process.
I see driver's licenses, like not even expired, sitting there. I've seen passports. I've seen social security cards. I mean, all the information that I would ever need to do something like that.
Wow.
And I never have. And I never will.
Whatever.
I don't plan on doing anything again. I'm fixing to go away for a very long time.
I don't believe in people. I don't believe him. Let's continue.
Let me ask you this. This question comes up often, particularly from ladies.
Sure.
If you had a sister or a close friend or a relative that would come to you and say, you know, I've got this nice jewelry and I want to keep it in the house, but I don't know where to keep it. You know, everybody says, well, don't keep it in the master bedroom because that's the first place they'll look. Where would you tell people? Is that a dependable thing to do?
People, me never hear that part yet, you know. Me that think in the kitchen. In the kitchen, put in the pot in the kitchen, or Dutch pot on the kitchen, bend down for your knee and go under there. Thief now go pull out all the pots and pan and look for nothing. Master bedroom, and then let's listen to the answer. Because we never hear the part in the video yet.
To say, well,
Sure.
you can put it here, you can
Sure.
put it there.
Because most people, I mean, even in 5 to 7 minutes, I don't have time to case your whole house. I don't have time to turn your whole house upside down. There are ways of hiding your jewelry from people unless they're just in your house for a very long time. But I'll also say this: if I go into your home and you live in $1 million home, and I go in there and I look at your jewelry, and the only thing out are Kenneth Cole watches, I want to be suspicious, and that's going to make me look. Right.
So you're going to start checking other places.
Yeah, I'm going to look in the refrigerator. I'm going to pull all the stuff out the refrigerator. I'm going to check the Barbasol cans, those screw down cans, all the different things like that. If a person's trying to hide their jewelry away from some place, a person that they're thinking they're going to get burglarized, put it in your garage and mix it in with your toolbox, or in your ceiling. I mean, there's different ways to do it in your garage. Go put it in the attic. If you're just storing it away, or if it's like your grandmother's, it's a hereditary jewelry, whatever, go put it away. You don't need to see it every day. And I'll tell you this, heirloom jewelry, I stole some, and I was made aware of some of the items that I took and the value that they had to the people. And I was on drugs when I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
So my morals weren't really great. But when I sobered up and I started talking to the detectives and things, I remembered some of the jewelry, specific pieces, just because they were unique. And I made an effort to try and get the detectives back in touch with those specific pieces through the fences. So people that have their grandfather's watches, have rings from their mom that passed away, put them away, because you never know what's going to happen.
Are you, when you're exiting the house, sure, do you always exit the same way you entered, or how does that come into play?
If I was successful in getting in the home through that area, it depends on the alarm system's on. The alarm system says ready, I'll walk out the front door, not like I live there. But if the alarm system's on, I've defeated and found entry into a home anyway, then I'll pretty much leave the way I came, because it's a safe exit.
You know how much people this man hurt people? A man like this. Do you know how much life this man stole? Jewelry where you cannot replace, where loved one give you, money and all type of thing. You might go like him use a credit card and all them things. I want to believe in the identity theft. When you get a social security number and all of that. You go like him indulging in that too. Come on, dude.
Do you ever worry that if you go in and I know in the course of committing burglaries, you've probably had unexpected things happen.
Oh, sure.
In other words, you go to break a window and it makes a lot more noise than you thought it would,
yes,
as an example. Did you ever back off and just say, hey, I'm just going to hide somewhere and see what happens?
Sure.
See if there's a response, in other words.
Sure. Not necessarily a window, but there are alarm systems that I wasn't sure whether or not they were cellular. Mm-hmm. And I would cut the wires from that alarm system and then go about my business of entering the home or setting up to enter the home by dropping the window or the back glass. Mm-hmm. And then the alarm would go off. I was prepared for it to go off. Would step in, go into the home, physically actually go into the home, find where the alarm's at, not the box on the wall, but the actual clarion or whatever. It makes a clarion call. Like, beep, 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 beep. The beeper, right? It's loud. And jump up, knock it off the wall.
Yeah.
And then run out the house and then jog to wherever I'm going and drive back by later. Wow. Maybe 15 minutes later. Because if a call's been made about the home, if when I drive by, the officer will still be there. Right, because they're going to call, get the alarm system people there. They're going to do everything. Right?
Sure, particularly if they see any type of forced entry or attempted forced entry.
Right.
If you were going to imagine yourself standing tonight, let's say you were going to speak to a citizen group, a neighborhood watch group, and there's 100 people there, and somebody would say to you, is there anything we can do to our house so it's not an easy mark? How would you answer a question like that?
The easiest thing, keep your windows shuttered when you're not home. Make sure that there's no line of sight to your alarm system from the back door. Sometimes I would go up and look into a home and I would look beside the door and I would see that, hey, the alarm system's not here. I know they have an alarm system. So I would go to the backyard and use my telephone and pull up my camera and focus it in where I know the alarm system's got to be and sit there and move my fingers out, which will enlarge the picture, and sit there and look at it and look at the colors. So putting up your box where it can't be readily seen when you arm your alarm is going to deter some people. Doing the shutter is going to deter some people. Doing the lighting in your home is going to deter some people. The box that I'm talking about, the timer box that you can buy, or just a timer, electronic timer to turn electricity on and off, switch throughout your house is really going to deter people. Putting a sticker at your front door that says that our alarm system's current with Plano PD or Allen PD or Richardson or Dallas PD, and we have a direct link to them. This is our certificate number or whatever, right? That's definitely going to be a deterrent because I know that alarm system's fresh.
When I hear the criminal, this morning. All right, let's continue.
Up to date, which makes me think that the sign that doesn't say it's cellular or wireless, it's just an old sign because the sign's new, the sticker's new. That's a deterrent.
So in other words, they're taking care of their business.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping up to date on their security, putting signs in your yard that say wireless alarm system, whether you have it or not,
Okay,
is going to deter probably 80% of burglars.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything as far as door hardware or lock hardware? Or, would a solid door be better than a door with glass?
Sure.
I mean,
most certainly.
That might be a surprise. You go around to the rear of a home and it's a dang solid door. So then you're either going to look at a window or you're going to move on.
Move on because the windows make too much noise. Mm-hmm. Sure. One of the things that I looked for were doors that I could see all the way through. And I would jog by and look. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can see from the front of their house to the back. I can see their back fence to their front door. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, those doors are beautiful. And I can understand why people like them. But in a criminal perspective, that's an invitation. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want a person casing your home through your front door when you're not home, change your door out or get a camera. And don't mount the camera up in the corner where I can wear a baseball cap and sunshades and look down and still look all in your home and you never know who's at your front door. That doesn't deter me because I'm like, well, it's not going to see me. It's no big deal. Yes, I have tattoos, but as I've already stated, when I was casing homes or anything illegal, I always wore long sleeves. Uh-huh. A camera right at par with the average height, about 5'8". Yeah. Pointing straight out with LED lights around it that are lit up, yellow, red, or green, not just plain white lights. That's going to be a deterrent. People are going to start walking to your home and see that, and they're going to be like, oh, no, there's no way. I'm not going up there. And that you can keep your beautiful glass door like that because that is a major deterrent, knowing that you're on camera and knowing that it's recording and knowing that you're going to have to search this house probably for an hour to find wherever they've stashed their video boxes recording, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it just may be a wireless device. Now people can look at from those cameras to see who's at their home. So it's just a major deterrent. Having a good set of locks, having a kicker plate on your door, the one around the edge where a person just can't readily wedge something in there, that steel plate all the way around, it's almost impossible to defeat. You're going to have to try and kick the door open. And if you've got a nice set of bolts on there, deadbolts, it's going to make so much noise. If you've got neighborhood watch, they're going to be like, man, what's going on next door? So that's a major deterrent. Those double plated glass windows. I know that people are like, oh, well, those are just like insulation windows. And they are. But there's a version of them that you can get that when they crack are extremely loud. I mean, when they crack, it sounds like it sounds like a thunderbolt, or it sounds terrible. I mean, I could take that center punch and push on that window, and it goes pow, really loud. I was like, whoa, that's how I found out about it the first time. I was like, well, this door's not, because it was a metal door at the back of a home that I couldn't get through with that center punch. I was going to go through the window. And so I hit it with the center. It was just way too loud, made way too much noise, made a loud echo, loud popping noise.
So I take it you didn't go in that.
No, I didn't. That door deterred me, and that window deterred me. And so I was like, well, this isn't worth it. I can find a home that doesn't have this. Why risk this, right? Why fight this? Also, whether you have it hooked up or not, having a horn or even just bogus cameras at the back of your home. People will see, if I walk by and I see that you have like that security glass, like I'm looking at this right there at the back of your home, that little rounded glass thing, I'm thinking, oh, this guy's got high-tech security. He may not be advertising it, but he's got it, and I don't want to mess with that. When I was doing this, my morals were really low because of drug use. But when I came out of the stupor that drugs had me in, and I realized the things that I had done, no matter what the reasons were, I felt a lot of guilt. I felt ashamed. So thank you for giving me this chance to enlighten the public a little bit and lighten my load a little bit with God, the guilt that I have.
So I use the drug addict as excuse about the case here. Let's listen.
And I appreciate you sharing with us.
People, I hope this was interesting and educational. Please do not keep it to yourself, because I didn't. Late in the morning, early in the morning, I really share it with you guys. So share this with somebody else. Spread this. Make we help each other with this kind of information coming from the mouth of the horse. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here on this platform this morning. See you in the lights.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again. What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Go be money, miss away in the your little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste for most of man to statue. Say we like a cash you, but we got in a figure you. Take this bit of money, God and say that is not you. One day the man above him up, him a got a bet. But it in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you. It burn me 300% praise. It burn me garbage pile up the day. It burn me. Give the teacher them raise. It burn me. I see corruption please. It burn me. Mash down the people them house. It burn me. Every day appear arms out. It burn me. Appear money.